and gentlemen, welcome to our discussion. Today, we are going to discuss a Form 2 question from the topic of gradients and equation of a straight line. The question is also being tested in grade 9 mathematics under CBE. So invite your friends, tell them about STEM Smart Academy, a source where a lot of revision materials are being offered for free. All you need is access to the internet. Then things are going to be well. So let's have a look at question number 17. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos to your other friends. So given that a line L1 passes through the point A, -1, 5, and B, 3, -1. Find part A of the question. The equation of line L1 in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. Find the equation of L1 in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. So, dear learners, when you look at that question, first of all, you know that the line L1 is passing through point A and B. Let's first start by getting the gradient. Let's start by getting the gradient of our line. Our gradient is change in y over change in x. Change in y over the change in x. So the change in y is going to be -1 minus 5 all over 3 minus -1. So this becomes -1 minus 5 becomes -6 all over 3 minus -1 becomes +4. So this simplifies to -3 over 2. That is our gradient. That is our gradient. After getting our gradient, ladies and gentlemen, we pick one of the points. For example, I can pick the point -1, 5. Then I have to introduce another point which I'll call xy. Now with my newly obtained gradient, which is -3 over 2, I can form an equation. I know now that y minus 5 over x minus -1, this should give me the gradient which is -3 over 2. So I'll have y minus 5 over x minus -1 makes it to be x plus 1, being equivalent to -3 over 2. What happens there, ladies and gentlemen, is you can cross multiply. When you cross multiply, you are going to have 2 into y minus 5 being equivalent to -3 into x. Remember, we need to leave our answer in the form of y is equal to mx plus c. So I want to make y, sorry for that. I want to make y the subject of the formula. I want to make y the subject of the formula. So will be equals to, so -3 plus 10 plus 7. So making y the subject means I'm going to divide through by 2. So y will be equals to -3 over 2x plus 7 over 2. But remember, you cannot leave it like that because they must be simplified. So this means y will be equals to -1.5 x plus 3.5. Y is equal to -1.5 x plus 3.5. See the 2 marks, and that is the equation of line L1. Part B of the same question. The equation of a line L2 is a perpendicular bisector of L1, which is a perpendicular bisector of L1, is equal to C, where A, B, and C are integers, where A, B, and C are integers. ladies and gentlemen, because it's a perpendicular bisector, remember if I have this as my line L1, a perpendicular bisector of this line L1 will be dividing this line into two equal parts at 90 degrees. So this point where that perpendicular bisector will be cutting the line L1 is the midpoint of the line L1. So first of all, let's get the midpoint. The midpoint of L1. Remember, how do you get midpoint? Hope you remember how to get the midpoint. Hope you remember how to get the midpoint. So our midpoint is given by x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. That is the formula for getting the midpoint. So we are going to have our x1 will be -1 plus 3, -1 plus 3 divided by 2. Then our y1 and y2 will be 5 plus -1. 5 plus -1 divided by 2. So you realize that this is -1 plus 3 become +2. You divide it by 2, you get 1, comma. 5 plus -1 become +4. You divide by 2, you get a 2. So the midpoint is the point 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, because the two lines now will be perpendicular, hope you remember the principle that for perpendicular lines, the product of their gradient should give you -1. Because line L1 has had a gradient of -3/2, when I multiply it with M2, which is the gradient of the perpendicular bisector, I should get -1. When I now make M2 the subject of the formula, M2 is now going to be 2/3. That is now the gradient of the perpendicular bisector. But now because I have the point 1, 2, I'll reintroduce another point, call it xy. Then I'll have to say over x minus 1. This should be equal to 2/3. That should be equal to 2/3. Then when you are at that point, ladies and gentlemen, you cross multiply. You're going to have 3 into y minus 2 being equivalent to 2 into x minus 1. When you open the brackets, we are going to have 3y minus 6 should be equal to 2x minus 2. But now look at this form in which they are saying we express our answer. Remember, if you've been told in an exam to leave your answer in a particular form, make sure you write your final answer in that format. So when we have 3y minus 6 being equivalent to 2x minus 2, I'm going to bring everything here. So I'll have 2x minus 3y being equivalent, I've said 2x minus 3y being equivalent to, when -2 crosses over, it will be -6 plus 2. So this is now going to be 2x minus 3y is equivalent to -4. 2x minus 3y is equivalent to -4. So that is your final answer in that question. That is your final answer in that question. Let's have a look at part C. Let's have a look at part C. Given that another line L3 is parallel to L2 and passes through the point -3, -5 and intersects L1 at point P, find the equation of L3 in the form of AX plus BY plus C is equal to 0. 2 marks. 2 marks. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look at that question. One, they are saying that L3 is parallel to L2. That means the gradient of line 3 will be equivalent to the gradient of line 2, which is equivalent to 2/3. And it is passing now through this point, -3, -5. So if it's passing through that point, -3, -5, we can get its equation. We can get the equation. Let's look at, yes, we can get the equation because now we have that point, -3, -5. We introduce another point, we call it xy. Then with the gradient of L3, which is 2/3, we get its equation. So here I'll have y minus -5 over x minus -3. This should be equal to 2/3. That should be equal to 2/3. Then y minus -5 is like saying y plus 5 over x minus -3 is like saying x plus 3. This should be equal to 2/3. Then what happens here, ladies and gentlemen, is cross multiplication. We are going to have 3 into y plus 5 being equivalent to 2 into x plus 3. Then you open your brackets. This is going to be 3y plus 15 being equivalent to 2x plus 6. 2x plus 6. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you need to stick by this principle here. So when you stick by that principle, you're going to get 2x minus 3y plus 6 minus 15, giving you a 0 on the other side. So this is going to be 2x minus 3y. Then you have a positive 6 minus 15. That should be -9. So this gives you -9 being equivalent to 0. Now you would have written it in the form in which they wanted, and you'll be having your 2 marks. You'll be having your 2 marks. Let's look at part D of the very question. It says the coordinates of the point of intersection of L1 and L3. When you look at this one, it says that L3, line L1 and L3 intersects at point P. So L1 and L3 intersecting. So you need to know that at the point of intersection. So first let's have the equation of L1. The equation of L1, let me find the equation of L1. The equation of L1, I had this one here. I can rewrite it and say I can say 3x plus 2y is equals to 7. 3x plus 2y is equal to 7. That was the equation of L1. Now the equation of L3 here we have, if I write it in that manner, minus 3y. Now because these two lines intersect at point P, to find the point of intersection, we are simply going to solve these two equations simultaneously. So if I have 3x plus 2y being equivalent to 7, and the second equation I have 2x minus 3y being equivalent to 9, I'll eliminate x by multiplying here by 2, here by 3. Upon doing that, I'm now going to have 6x. 2 times 2y will be plus 4y, should be equivalent to 14. Then 3 times 2x, that will be 6x. 3 times -3y will be minus 9y, being equivalent to 3 times 9 is 27. Then when you do subtraction, x will disappear. Then you have 4y minus -9y. This is going to be now positive 13y being equivalent to, I have now 14 minus 27, which gives me negative 13, which gives me negative 13. So 13y is equal to negative 13, meaning y will be equal to negative 1. After getting the value of y as negative 1, to get the value of x, you can substitute to any of the equation and allow. So 3x should give me a 7. So 3x minus 2 is equal to 7. So 3x is going now to be equals to 7 plus 2. 3x is equal, x will be equal to 3 when you divide.